From the 10th of April to the 20th of April, I had what I would say one of the best days in my life. Together with my friend Nick, I visited Tokyo, the capital city of Japan. I've been all around Europe, but never outside of it before, so experiencing an entirely different continent and culture truly was an experience I will never forget. We've seen, experienced, and bought so many things, so I just want to tell you about it today and show you some of the photos and videos I've made. After a very long flight, we finally arrived. I've instantly noticed how clean it was everywhere and how extremely polite and nice the people were. The drink automats is something I will miss a lot, and whatever this over-sugar drink was, I enjoyed my first of many drinks from them. We then visited the Asakusa Shrine and saw the Tokyo Sky Tree because those were really close to our hotel. After walking around a bit in a beautiful park, I had my first food, which was this, whatever it was, and fried octopus, which wasn't really my thing, but it was interesting anyways. We visited the Ueno Park, which was really beautiful, and we walked around that area for a bit. The second day was probably my favorite day. It was the first time in
Akihabara.
I wouldn't consider myself to be the biggest anime nerd anymore that I used to be, but I'm still a big Pokemon fan, and man, this place was the paradise for us when it came to shopping. Being there for the first time was overstimulating because there was music playing everywhere, people walking around everywhere, and shop after shop of great things, but I loved every second of it. We were in a store that offered old but still packaged Game Boy Pokemon games, and I just had to get some. Then I bought the most expensive thing in this trip, which were rare PSA graded Pokemon cards that I just absolutely fell in love with, and I already put them in a frame on my wall. We then visited a cat cafe, which was very cute, and I even got to feed one of them. Akihabara was the place we both loved the most in Tokyo from what we've seen, but this definitely wasn't our only time there. Day 3 we went to see Shibuya and of course the big scramble crossing. And man, I am used to full streets since I live in Berlin, but that street was absolute insanity. We visited a lot of very cool nerd and fashion stores there, and I was actually surprised how much cheaper most of the fashion there was, besides from maybe some of the shoes. After a lot of walking around in Shibuya, we had what we both considered the best burger we've ever tasted, together with Fanta Watermelon, which is now one of my favorite drinks. Then we visited our first of many Pokemon centers, and I got a pretty big substitute plushie. A nice evening walk around in the Asakusa Shrine ended this day off very nicely. Day 4 we visited a beautiful mall to see another Pokemon center and also the One Piece store because my friend loves that anime. A fruity shake that I got at the Pokemon cafe gave me the most brutal brain freezes, but together with a Pikachu waffle, it was great anyways. Next to that mall there was the East Ikebukuro Central Park, which was very relaxing after walking around so much, and that park is known to have a lot of cats, which we did see as well. After I've had a chicken sandwich that slept harder than your father's belt, we've visited the Gokoku Temple, which offered some of the most beautiful cherry blossoms I've ever seen. We enjoyed the nature around that area for a bit more, and then we went back to get a Shogun burger. Never. After one of many insane breakfasts with an amazing view that I had in my hotel, we decided it is time to go back to Akihabara. And I of course dressed up fitting for it. Once again, we got a lot of stuff and seen some things in the store that I couldn't even show on YouTube without being demonetized. Got a shuriken, consumed food, and got 2 figurines, one of an anime which I really like called Chainsaw Man, one of my favorite anime girls from Data Life. They are both now standing in my kitchen. Also a new controller that I will use for my Switch from now on. This was also a lot cheaper than it was where I live. I then tried my first burger with Wagyu meat, which is considered one of the tastiest meats in the world, but I do personally prefer chicken. Day 6, we revisited Shibuya where I got an insanely cool looking Fate knife and a berry Fanta, which is now also one of my favorite drinks. But also a Pokemon Center where I of course got the flower, my main yellow Yoshi and the main of my friend Nico blue Yoshi. Shibuya was full of fashion stores where I got a nice little shirt and some other funny things. I saw my 2 favorite shoes, but they were way too expensive for me. We then went to a rare Japanese car meetup where we saw all sorts of crazy looking cars, and we even got to sit in Nick's favorite car. Driving around Tokyo in the middle of the night was so beautiful, and we even got to see the Tokyo Tower at the end. Let me see your hands to bring you outside in my land. Day 7, Nick sadly felt unwell in the morning. I walked around alone at the Asakusa temple and got to see some of the most beautiful nature there that I missed on before. I went to a Starbucks after a very long time, and even there I had the nicest people ever and the best drink I've ever had at a Starbucks, which was the melon milkshake. Later in the day, Nick felt a bit better, so we went back to Akihabara, got some nice food there, and then gambled at the claw machines, which ended up working out for me though, since on my second try I won a very cute Ampharos plushie. Nick also got a Chainsaw Man plushie after many attempts. We then had the best crepe we've ever had and fresh orange juice from an automat, which was a very nice evening snack. On day 8, we visited the beautiful and big Imperial Palace, which had so much amazing nature that I just absolutely fell in love. Cherry blossom, palm trees, flowers, you name it, everything was there. In the evening, I had one of the best ramen I've ever had, which was my favorite meal with the Shogun burger in this entire trip. Ramen is my favorite food, so having that in Tokyo truly hit hard. On the last full day, I sadly got a bit sick as well, but we still went to a nice park and got to see the Tokyo Sky Tree for our last time. Also, the breakfast in our hotel is something I already really miss, since every single morning I had amazing pancakes and scrambled eggs. We then said goodbye to Tokyo by going to our favorite burger store, Shogun Burger, for the last time, and we visited Akihabara one last time. Day 10, it was sadly time to go. While of course nothing is perfect, Tokyo was one of the closest things to perfection I've ever experienced in my life. I've been all around Europe's big cities, but I would now consider Tokyo to be my favorite city with my hometown Berlin. So to conclude my overall experience in Tokyo, the people are super friendly. English is usually always spoken enough. Even if someone didn't speak good English, they instantly got their translator out and were extremely nice about it. Just that fact alone was the complete opposite from what I've experienced in Paris 3 years ago. Tokyo was not as expensive as I was told. Food and drinks were generally way cheaper than what I know. For big ramen bowls, we usually paid around 1,000 yen, which is around 6 euros. And you could get drinks at the automats for 100 to 130 yen, which is around 60 cents. Tokyo is extremely clean, although there are hardly any trash cans. Sometimes we really walked around with our cans for a half an hour before finding a trash can. One of the very few negative things I have to say is that Japanese people are generally on their cell phones a lot, which always kind of makes me upset, and of course the water from the drain is not the best. What really surprised me is that anime elements can be seen pretty much anywhere. Not only in Akihabara, anime is unbelievably big in Tokyo that even train stations, airports, and many more explanations are in that style. What I loved is that it felt very safe no matter when and where we were. In conclusion, I have so many positive things to say about Tokyo. This trip truly was the greatest vacation I've ever had. This city was uncomparable to anything I've ever experienced, and I highly recommend anyone to visit it at least once in their life. I can definitely say that it won't be my only vacation in Tokyo. Tokyo was beyond anything I've ever experienced. Shoutouts to my friend Nick. Without him, this would have not been the same. Arigato gozaimasu Tokyo. Thank you so much for watching and stay awesome. It's a boy, Phil.